everyone. I'm Aaron Patton, and I'm co-host episode 1 of the DNA podcast.
And I'm Doug. I'm the D part of DNA, which A is Aaron. So I'm also the co-host of this show, and we're looking forward to doing this.
Man, this is going to be fun. We're basically just going to have a bunch of conversations about a bunch of random topics, give our opinions, talk about how it affects us. We might even talk a little bit about our personal lives, things going on in the world. This is pretty much going to be one of those podcasts that you can come to and hopefully get a little bit of everything.
Now, when he says random, he means we talked about it for 10 minutes before we started this, which, if all things considered, isn't technically random, but really and truly, I'm sure people actually prep time for this before they have podcasts.
Absolutely. But you know what? We're not those type of people. So we figured that 10 minutes was probably enough. So why don't we start with a little bit of introduction of each and every one of us. So I'm going to throw it to Doug and probably just play off everything he says and make myself sound better than I actually am. So, Doug.
Well, Aaron Patton, I figured I'd do it interview style. I figured, you know what? Me, the viewer, who's listening to episode 1 of the DNA podcast, wants to know, Aaron, what exactly do you do?
Well, you know...
And I don't mean that in a sexual way.
I guess that answers the second question. I'm married, so Melody falls under that category technically. But for a job, my occupation, I guess you could say I am a professional theist who believes in divine intervention and inspiration in a way of externalizing certain things. That's a fancy way for saying I'm a pastor.
Oh, okay. Yeah, for the slow people like me out there who wanted to verify that.
What is
so
a
pastor,
theist?
yeah.
Define theist.
A theist is it's a pianist, but they play a different instrument, right?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
The TH. The TH one.
It's a pianist with a lisp. A theist. So you're a pastor, good sir.
I am.
Very cool, very cool. And what are some of the reasons why you wanted to do this podcast? What called you to put all this together and set it up?
You know, and it's great that Doug has actually helped me out with this because he really has become almost a crutch. I need him to be able to get through this, but
more like a tampon.
Yeah, but I still need you.
He needs
at
me
least
once a month. Yeah.
And if this becomes a weekly thing, I'm having a heavy flow.
Yeah, that's right. Call the doctors.
Yeah. I've been thinking about this for a couple of years, buddy. And it's funny, just talking with a couple of people, and lately it became really apparent that I need to do something creative. I need to do something new. And you know what? Things just clicked. This seemed like the right thing to do. Pieces fell together. You're here. We got the gear. We're recording. We've got this awesome NWO theme song in the background because we're wrestling fanatics. It's go time.
That's awesome, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So is there any other random pieces of information you want to give to the local viewers out there? You know what? They might not even be local. We could be hitting people in different languages that we don't even know are listening to our podcast.
Good call, man. Well, you know, we're going to put this on YouTube, so we're going to start our own DNA YouTube channel, Doug and Aaron. And hopefully we'll be having a lot of installments of these videos and these podcasts, so you'll be able to hear us as much as you want.
Yep.
Subscribe. You know, we want to get your feedback, though. If you've got something positive or you want to feedback on or some sort of topic you want us to touch on, let us know. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, and hopefully DNA isn't taken on YouTube. So, we might be changing the name later on, but right now this is an amazing name. We're going to stick with it as long as we can make it work.
DNA. Not to be confused with DNA.
No, never to be confused with that. Nothing.
CNN.
No officiation with Jeff Jarrett. Nothing like that at all.
CBC. TSN.
TSN, that would be close, but no, not really.
Yeah. We probably will talk about sports at some point.
Yeah, for sure. We've got some conflicting views, but we support each other, whether it comes to hockey, football, ping pong leagues, you name it.
That is pretty hot right now. So hot.
So hot in China.
So, Doug,
Yes.
and the D and the DNA.
The D and the DNA.
You put the D in it.
And I put the D in it.
You put the D in. That sounds weird.
I keep the D in there. The problem is we have to make eye contact while we're recording this, so it's...
This is great for us at the very least. If no one else hears this, I'm going to look back and listen and chuckle.
No doubt. This is how intimacy is written in the Bible, just talking to each other, making eye contact.
With a holy kiss. And Jesus. So, I mean,
that's not biblical coming from the pastor, just for the record. This is the non-pastor talking who is saying, that is not biblical.
So let me ask you then. I mean, I'm glad you're on board for sure.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
As I said, I couldn't do this without you, man. And a little bit about Doug Souza. He's my best friend. He's got one of the biggest hearts of anyone I know, and one of the funniest people I've ever met. So having him on board to give his banter and to lend that wit to us is huge. So why on earth would you want to do this podcast?
You know what? Unfortunately, it's a lot simpler than yours. There's no theology behind it. There's nothing like that. It's just straight up, I love to hear my own voice. But well, that's not wrong. The other part of it is I just like to talk. We have some great conversations, and we figured, you know what? Why not record them? Why not laugh about them? Why not share them with other people? Get some other people's opinions on things. You know, what's happening in the world? What's happening in sports? What's happening in our lives? Whatever it may be, we just figured this is a great outlet for both of us just to say different things, and whatever happens comes from that. It happens.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you want to share with me or the viewers who may or may not be listening?
Well, Aaron Patton, I've known him on and off my entire life since I was super young, and he's always had a bigger heart than me. So despite the fact that he thinks I've got a big heart, he's got a bigger one than me. In The Grinch, when his
I've
heart
got a
grows
bigger one than
3
Doug Souza.
times too big, and it breaks the actual frame, that's actually Aaron Patton's heart. Mine is the first heart, the little lump of coal one. And yeah, but he's a talented musician. He's a very creative person. He wanted to get together and do this, and yeah, I have all the respect and admiration for him. So even just doing this and starting it up is awesome.
Thank you, Doug. I appreciate that, man.
For sure, for sure.
You know, it was interesting. Doug said that we've known each other for a long time. We went back to elementary school. Was that grade 6?
Grade 6.
Grade 6. That
Yep.
seems like an eternity ago. Yeah, and we went to private school together.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went separate ways. You went somewhere else.
I went to a couple different schools. I moved around quite a bit for schools-wise, and then we reconnected in high school.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good old Diefenbaker.
Good old John G. Diefenbaker. So for all
Grade
of you
11.
all of you that have Google out there can look for a school called John G. Diefenbaker. You're not going to find which city it is because that was a Calgary school, but it was a Canadian Prime Minister. So you know, for all you American listeners or coming out from other parts of the world, yeah, we went to high school in Calgary together.
Absolutely. Now, we went from grade 11. We kind of reconnected. I actually saw him as I was leaving the school on registration day, like a week or two before we actually started classes.
Yep.
And I remember you were in the car with your mom driving out, and I was like, hey! And I was so excited, I was waving because I didn't know anyone at Diefenbaker.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're just like, yo, you know, like, you
Whatever.
had this, like,
Whatever. Yeah,
it was kind of like this blue steel look. You're like,
I-
and you looked like you were wearing sunglasses without actually wearing sunglasses. It's
Oh,
like,
wow.
Oh, Doug Souza is so cool. I forgot how cool this guy was. And, you know, it's funny because grade 12 rolls around, and we decided, hey, you know what we should do that every other great story of young guys growing up together does? We should start a band.
Yeah, yeah.
And we surrounded ourselves with an amazing guitar player,
We did, yeah.
a hell of a front man,
Yep,
Doug
yep.
Souza.
That was me.
and a pretty decent drummer back there.
And a lower than mediocre, but not quite low bass player.
With a very strange sense of humor.
Very much so. He might be a serial killer right now, for all I know.
We're not going to mention any names, though. And
Rhymes with Ben. Wait.
Oh, snap.
But yeah, from my perspective, the first day, see, grade 10, I went to a different school altogether. So coming into Diefenbaker in grade 11, I didn't know anybody at all. All I knew was that I wanted to play football, and they had a good team. So that's the reason why I came there. So seeing Aaron was an awesome thing because then I actually knew somebody too right off the bat. I didn't actually buy my first pair of sunglasses until I was 21. So, you know, discredit the fact of that
Wow.
because I had a girlfriend at the time who decided to tell me that I needed sunglasses all the time because I'd never used them outside. So, yeah,
Well, like I said, though, you look like you were wearing sunglasses without actually wearing the
it
sunglasses.
could be racial profiling. I'm Spanish, so, you know, my skin's a bit darker and my hair's a bit
I
bushier.
didn't say anything about your mom parking on the school's lawn while you were getting registered. So we're fine. That's a bit of the South right there.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. Anyway, Rico La, Doug Souza.
Didn't Eddie Guerrero's Lowrider have that as a horn?
I think so. He also came out to the tune "We Lie, We Cheat, We Steal," so I'm not exactly sure that's who you want to be aligning yourself
This is a
with,
good point.
representing a whole nation of people.
This
But
is a good point.
we just lost South America in that single comment. So, bye, Mexico.
If anybody's at war with us, please don't be.
Hold on, Holmes. Ese?
I swear, yo te quiero mucho more. Come on, I love you guys.
Yeah. But that's Doug Souza,
Mm-hmm.
good friend. And we hang out a lot. I mean, one of the things we love to do now as two people, and correct me if I'm wrong, is we hang out every week.
Yep.
We have good food when you're cooking.
Yep.
And we have the same thing if it's my turn to provide the food because I buy the sandwiches.
But it works. That's
It
why.
does.
That's why we keep doing it.
But what do we do after we eat?
We generally watch horror movies. Horror. Yeah, we like horror movies, or we like wrestling. We really love watching wrestling and all wrestling surrounding things. So it's fun for us to watch. It's fun for us to make predictions on and guess and just do random things like that. But why do you like horror movies and wrestling?
I really love how you're pronouncing it horror.
I don't want
movies,
anyone
so
to think
there's
it's a horror movie,
yeah,
you know? Yeah.
No
yeah.
horror movies.
No horror movies. It's my Spanish, my Espanol. They're coming out there. Horror movies. Ja, 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 ja.
Yeah, horror. For me, it's funny because there's not a lot of people I can watch it with. My wife hates it. Anything even slightly suspenseful, she can't do. And I've got this itch. I enjoy it. I enjoy being scared. And so Doug has kind of become my heterosexual life mate in the sense of he's dedicated himself to me so we can go out and watch these horror movies. And one of my favorites in the last 10 years has been two movies that I've screamed out loud in.
Okay.
The first one was The Grudge in 03, I think it came out.
Okay, yeah.
03,
yeah.
04.
Yeah.
And the most recent one was Annabelle.
Annabelle.
You know, that scene where she's in the apartment. the
Spoiler
doll's
alert.
freaking
Spoiler
out.
alert.
I'm
In
just
case you
gonna
haven't
tell
watched
one part.
Annabelle.
If you haven't watched it and you're a horror fan, watch it.
Yeah, it's a
Stream
good movie.
it online. What are you doing?
Yeah.
After this, stream it online.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
you're watching the YouTube channel, probably pictures of our faces, listening to our voices. This is more important, but then stream it online.
Which, by the way, like, subscribe, please.
Yes.
And share with your friends. If you like this, share it with your friends. Like it, subscribe it.
Turn this into a horror movie.
That's right.
We
that's
wanna
right.
we wanna sell ourselves, like subscribe. We need it.
Horror
Please.
movie, not
Horror.
a horror movie. We're not selling ourselves
Horror.
like whores. We are selling ourselves
no,
like a
we are.
horror movie.
We're soliciting.
Is that what we're doing?
Subscribe.
Okay, like, subscribe.
Please
okay.
subscribe.
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
please subscribe.
Yeah, that would be really good.
Yeah. Anyway, Annabelle. And there's this one scene, that's the only thing I'm going to talk about this. We're sitting in the theater, and Doug's got this good rule that if we're going to the movie together, there's a seat between us, because otherwise it gives a very strange appearance. For me, I'm not too socially keen on these things.
It's like going to brunch with a guy. People just look down on it, but they don't know why. And, we just don't want to send any mixed messages. Not that we're against anything in particular, but we just like to have that space in between us.
So we should probably stop holding hands when we go into the theater.
I think that's okay. I think that's allowed.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
especially during the scary parts, I think that's even more allowed.
Which I would have preferred in this scary part. Like I said, the second time in 10 years I've screamed out loud in
Yeah.
public place.
Yeah.
So this woman's standing in the room. She's got one of those double swinging doors swinging one way. This child's standing there. I'm like, oh, that's creepy. Starts running at her, comes through the door, instantly transforms into an adult woman and grabs her. Scared the crap out of me for whatever
Yeah.
reason. That doesn't sound scary, but I remember screaming out loud and you laughing. And then
Yeah,
me
yeah.
laughing eventually because
Yeah,
it scared
yeah.
me so bad.
Yeah, generally when Aaron screams or flinches, I laugh because I'm pretty stoic. Unfortunately, I try to sit in the seat
True.
and make as little possible noise as possible. I just keep focusing on the scene, so not much actually scares me. But Aaron, he brings me some joy in those horror movie times. So
Well, it's enjoyable. I mean, I get myself so worked up sometimes I have to see the hand slowly creeping up in front of one eye and then squinting. If I squint, then it can't hurt me. And it can't scare me because I really can't make out anything, So I've got my tactics, but I enjoy it.
I think next time we should bring a blanket for you, and you can just like put your head underneath it, and then you'll be protected.
I'll be like Pigpen.
That's right.
Isn't he the one with the blanket?
He is the one with the blanket, but you're much cleaner than Pigpen, which is good.
Yeah, some days. If it's post-workout, sometimes it's
Yeah,
not so good.
yeah, that is Pigpen at that point in time.
Good grief, Charlie Brown.
That wasn't Pigpen who said that, but
No,
you
I
know
know,
what?
but
That's good.
the only peanuts were. That's pretty much all I got, man. Hopefully we'll get some more impressions coming out later.
That's
but
right. We'll research our Peanuts, impressions later on, I guess.
Yeah, that's probably not a bad thing. We
Yeah.
get some stuff from YouTubers.
Yeah,
I can
yeah.
watch a how-to video.
Yeah, that'll be good. That'll definitely be good.
So that's one of the things that unifies us. We love watching scary movies, bad scary movies,
Yep.
comedies.
Yeah.
But we also, like Doug said, love wrestling.
Yep.
And not just mainstream. Like lately, the last couple of years, we've gotten into some old school hardcore wrestling. Not just ECW, but CCW, some
Yeah,
hardcore extreme stuff. And
We've been digging deep.
we're trying new things. Some of it's crap, and some of it's good.
Yeah, but one thing we notice is when we see it, we definitely are very surprised by it. Like the things that were happening in the early 2000s that we thought were good, well, these things are trumping them. They're trying more crazy things. They're doing more high flying things. Just
Being inventive.
being more inventive, more creative with their moves.
Absolutely.
It just is kind of blowing our minds that this stuff existed when we thought that we were already watching the best of the best.
Yeah, and it's just kind of opened our horizons and reignited different passions for me, for like,
Definitely.
especially the hardcore stuff. Because
Definitely.
we're entering into the, if you don't follow wrestling, then I apologize. If we offend you for saying certain things, I apologize.
Yeah.
It's not going to change anything, but
Yeah.
we care about you.
Yeah.
We are entering the PG era of the WWE.
Mm-hmm.
That's a human being, damn it. JBL is announced.
Goddamn handicap match.
Yeah. And watching some old school stuff that's almost backyard cam held recorded. It's cool. It's got a different, more aggressive edge. It's not
It
so
is.
polished.
Yeah, but it's definitely worth watching for sure. If you ever were a wrestling fan and you in the Attitude Era specifically, and you kind of want to see something crazier, some CZW stuff, very very interesting. Definitely catches you off guard, but very creative, very cool, very fast paced. Obviously, there's some crap matches, some filler matches, but they got some cool stuff going on. Some good ideas.
For sure. So while Doug, collects himself,
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
take over here for a second. Have some tea. There you
Delicious
go.
tea.
It's good. You recommend it? That was a peach, fuzzy peach,
Bellini or something like that.
peach
very,
Bellini.
very female sounding.
Yeah, fuzzy peach.
I've got the fuzzy peach Bellini
What
with
is
lots of sugar in it, and I think that is good for my palate. It tastes good. You know how you say
How do you say?
no, no sore throat in the meantime, eh? Yeah.
That's just straight vodka you're drinking. Have you ever seen Face Off with Nick Cage?
Yes.
Peach. I could eat a peach for hours.
I was creeped out at that point. It made me not want peaches for a couple of days, and then I remembered how delicious they actually were.
Is it worse than I'm saying it to you while looking into your eyes now?
I don't know. I think Nick Cage looking at the camera is the most creepy thing possible.
Still one of my. Still my boy.
He's your
I
boy.
can't not have my Nick Cage fix, man. That guy does great movies and crap movies. There's no
Season
in
of the
between.
Witch. Let's go Season of the Witch.
Is that the one where he's the hunter, right?
Yeah.
I actually enjoyed that one. That's with what's his face from Sons of Anarchy, the old guy.
Ron Perlman?
Perlman, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't mind it. It wasn't a great movie.
What about Ghost Rider?
Oh man, those are garbage.
Those are pretty horrible.
You know what? And it was funny because in the first one he was so jacked.
Yeah, he
I'm
was.
like, man, like he's got the physique and he's really. It could have been a decent role for him, but the script was garbage.
Yeah, it wasn't put together that well.
No.
And this is myself as a side project. Me and Aaron, we both love comic books too, so we read a lot of comic books. We know a lot about comic book trivia, and we kind of understand some of the origins and things that happen in those movies. So, as it stands, it wasn't done properly. That's for sure.
No. And actually that leads me to another thing. We're just gonna keep going down rabbit holes, but it's fine.
I'm
This
good
is a
with
great
that.
intro.
Yeah, why not?
Doug Souza is such a good sport when it comes to Halloween.
Yes.
I mean, if there was one time of the year that I just love, just because I love getting dressed up. I love the element of getting a character, dressing up in costume, and meeting new people. It's fun.
Mhm.
It's fun. It fits into the whole movie thing and all that kind of stuff. So Doug Souza and I, for at least 1 year, we've been going in like tandem costumes. 1 year. But we've hung out for a couple of years in a row now.
Yeah, we've done a couple years hanging out
But
together.
last year was the first year our costumes actually matched.
Right.
So it's been cool. And this year I'm excited.
Yeah. Do you want to tell them what we're dressing up as?
Well, you mentioned comic books, so I mean, like next year you've got coming out Superman versus Batman.
Yeah.
I mean, you're the biggest Superman fan I know.
I am. Yeah, I've got a Superman tattoo.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, I do.
And Doug Souza, if there's a question about Superman, I go to him.
Yeah, generally.
If there's an argument to be won over who Superman would and would not beat, I go to him. Now, me, I'm a Superman fan, not as big as he is. I also love Batman.
He does.
One thing we decided this year, and it was a while ago that Doug actually ordered his costume. I already happen to have mine. We're going to go as Batman and Penguin.
Yes.
It's going to be epic.
It is going to be epic. And Aaron has a legit costume, not one of those $40 go to the store that's up during Halloween and then shuts down after Halloween. He has a legit Batman costume that makes him sweat, that looks heavy, and that bad guys do not want to fight him on Halloween.
I think I'm almost bulletproof.
I think that's
But
pretty
not
much
enough
factual.
to get shot.
No. Bulletproof is in like hypothetical bulletproof, as in nobody would shoot a bullet at you which
Yeah.
makes you bulletproof, really.
Really? Yeah, actually. Yeah. Bulletproof.
And me, I've got the
nothing
I've got the $40 penguin costume.
It was a little bit more than $40, but it's a high quality one. It's not like you just strapped a piece of cloth onto
I
your
literally
naked
strap
body.
a piece of cloth onto my body.
The-
No,
the,
I don't.
The spectacle costs more than $40.
Yeah,
I think that
probably.
you got for it. It looks good. It's like old school penguin, though.
Old school penguin, yeah, not the Danny DeVito greasy black tar everywhere guy. I would not want to do Halloween like that. I'd probably freeze to death up here in Canada.
Yes.
But more like the old school classy penguin with the top hat and the cane and the monocle like Mr. Peanut.
Who played Batman in those days? What was his face?
Keaton, Michael Keaton. Or are you talking like
I'm talking old school.
old school Adam West?
Adam West.
Adam
yes.
West, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Now, wouldn't it be cool if you had like comic books now and the direction they're going with superhero movies now? Back then, I mean, Adam West wouldn't have been able to do it.
No,
He was too.
no.
He was too nice.
He was too nice. Yeah.
Like you look at different movies in the last 11 years, it's really taken a turn. I think what really started it for me was The Punisher in '04. Thomas Jane's adaptation in a rated R movie for a Marvel character was fantastic.
Yeah. And, the sad thing is, I don't know if we're going to see another R-rated superhero movie, which, maybe most people would
Deadpool.
think. Is Deadpool actually R-rated?
It is.
But
But
I
that's
didn't know
the
that.
first one in 11 years.
Yeah, because I want to see an R-rated Wolverine and another R-rated Punisher movie where there's actually killing. So,
I'd be interested to see how they use the Punisher in the Netflix because, I don't know, that could be good, and I would assume so because it's the same guys that did Daredevil, and that was great.
Yeah.
Or it could be crap.
it could be, but they have a guy that I believe could be the Punisher
Yes.
in Shane from The Walking Dead. I don't actually know his name. He was also in Fury. He was the bully.
I'm pretty sure that was his cast name. I'm the the greasy bully from Fury.
That's right.
Tank Greasy Bully.
But
But
he
it was
was
all
good.
one word, and it was like a hashtag before it.
I would hashtag that. That's a good hashtag. It would catch on definitely right away.
Hashtag couldn't get Brad Pitt's parts, so I am Tank Greasy Bully.
Yeah, John Favreau 2.0. Because he plays a bully all the time, right?
I think that's accurate.
But yeah, they've got some good casting for that. So I'm interested to see where they go with it for sure. But yeah,
So that's a little bit of us. You're probably going to get a lot more of this type of stuff as we go forward.
Yep.
There's going to be a whole bunch of tangents, I'm sure.
yeah,
And that's great. It's a great thing about the conversations we have.
yeah, exactly. They just kind of keep going down rabbit holes upon rabbit holes, and we just kind of loop back, and it all circles up together. But yeah, we just have fun.
So I have a story.
Okay.
If you want to hear it, and hopefully you'll indulge me, and hopefully it'll be somewhat entertaining. Because if I build it up and it's crap, then I'm just gonna be like, oh, I guess we're editing that out.
So if you never hear anything after he says I've got a story, then yeah, we edited
And then
it
just
out.
cuts to the song for
Yeah,
end credits.
the
You're
credits.
Like, oh, this is good. I gotta tune in next week to hear the story, and it'll never come.
never
and
come.
You'll never know. So, being a pastor, one of the things we do is we meet with the other pastors, and we have these group sessions once a week.
Okay.
Now, last week, let me set it up for you a little bit here.
All right.
I show up to the meeting frustrated. Now, it was partially my fault, and I'll tell you why. I go to the church early. I'm there an hour early. I'm getting pre-work done. I'm getting all this stuff going on in the background. I'm checking emails. I'm prepping different materials I'm going to be using the next week. I'm feeling good, and I never usually get there that early.
Okay.
But I had the opportunity.
Yep.
And we normally meet at 10 o'clock. So 9:30 rolls around. No one's pulled in yet. Not unusual. Most people pull in about 10:15 sometimes. So
All right.
not that big a deal.
Okay.
10 o'clock rolls around. And then the secretary comes in. He's like, oh, is this the day that they're meeting at what's-his-face's house? I'm like, what? I'm like, I hope not. And I kind of laughed, and I'm assuming it was.
Right.
And as soon as that conversation ended, I get the call from the guy we just talked about. He said, hey, where are you?
Oh no.
I'm at my house, which is a 20-minute drive from where I am,
Oh goodness. Like from where you live?
from the church.
Oh, from the church. Okay.
And I'm sitting there, and I had missed the week before because I was getting a tooth extracted from my skull
Yeah, that's
from
not
my
good either.
mother-in-law.
So, which one was more painful, the staff meeting or the tooth extraction?
Oh, definitely the staff meeting. The great thing is, actually, when getting the tooth, I've got such a high tolerance for the freezing.
Oh.
I set records every place I go.
Oh,
I take, on average, 5 shots of freezing to freeze.
holy smokes!
5. I took 6 my first tooth.
Oh my goodness.
6 for it to take. And I was so nervous. But after that first meal, you weren't feeling anything anyway, so the tooth came out. pretty good.
Right, right.
So I missed the week before. So
Okay.
I wasn't brought up to speed. There was no text sent, no emails, no in-person, hey, Aaron, next week we're not going to be here. We're going to be at
Oh.
blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to be like, oh, that's great. Thanks for letting me know. I didn't get any of that. That was
Okay.
like Terrence and Philip for some reason. Like, hey, fellas, haha.
Yeah, that's
I don't
what
know.
they're picturing anyways, because we are Canadian, so
Well,
they are picturing that. Our
that-
mouths
that-
move like that.
That's pretty accurate.
It is. It is.
You know.
Sometimes, when we, that's why you don't talk and eat.
Two-dimensional.
So your mom teaches you not to talk and eat because you just throw the food back, goes out the back of your throat. That's it. That's it in Canada.
Yeah.
And then it falls in the ice, and then it goes into the igloo, and you're screwed.
And we always apologize. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Sorry.
Sorry
I'm
about
so
that.
sorry.
Which adds to the whole talking and eating problem.
Absolutely.
It's just cyclical.
So I'm frustrated.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm like, well, did you guys just decide this last week? He's like, well, no. I mean, we discussed it, but we talked about this 3 months ago.
Oh, 3 months ago.
And I'm like, okay, well, now that you mention that, that is kind of familiar, which, again, partly my fault, right?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So here's the thing. I'm like, well, I'm a little frustrated. He's like, no worries. Well, come on over. So I go over. They're just finishing up the intro stuff, and we're starting to sit around and do business. And I'm kind of frustrated. I'm a little pissed off.
Of course. Yeah.
So I'm keeping my mouth shut, trying to, reflect and release all the tension so I'm not bringing any negativity to the group. And before we kick off, this conversation happens, and it was started out so good.
Yeah.
And then it just took a really downward turn. Like, it just went stupid.
Okay.
And I don't mean stupid in the sense of I didn't like it. I mean, it was literally stupid, and it didn't make any sense. And I'll get there.
Okay.
So we started talking. One person said, hey, I just watched this documentary. Did you see it? And I'm like, well, you need to tell me what the documentary was about because I can't tell you if I've seen it or not. Oh,
Right. Right.
it was about these kids in Haiti and what they eat. And I'm like, okay, well, Haiti's kind of a impoverished country in my mind.
Right. Right.
And it can't be good what this person's about to tell me because this build-up is kind of setting it up for failure.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's like, they eat mud. And I'm like, whoa, I kind of take a second.
Yeah.
He says, yeah, and this documentary, like, they're talking about how they actually pay to have dirt imported from a different part of the country because it's supposed to be pure, better for you. It's not so contaminated, I guess.
Okay.
And a part of it is a scam because people are making money on shipping you dirt.
Right. Right.
Which I don't know. They said that it probably wasn't any better.
So
or
wait,
worse.
there's companies making money on shipping dirt, and we decided to make a podcast.
I know.
Plan B, I guess.
Well, this is the dirt that we can sling in North America because
Touché,
no one
touché.
here is going to buy dirt to eat.
That's right. That's right.
So, yeah, what they do is they bring in the dirt. They obviously mix it with a little bit of water, and they don't want it too thin, but they make like pancakes outside because it's hot enough, and they get these flat rocks that are hot, and they cook them, and they put just a little bit of salt on these pancakes.
Right. All your essential vitamins and nutrients.
Right, but
Right.
here's the thing. You just use the N-word nutrients. And I'm thinking, man, this is horrible. Like, for me, I'm starting to get passionate. I'm starting to get a little upset because this bothers me at my core.
Right.
There's people eating dirt, and I'm sitting here complaining and being frustrated because I got the day wrong at the time and location of our meeting wrong, right?
Yeah.
So I'm getting pissed off with myself, and I'm kind of getting this awareness of, man, there's like a need that people can have their whole lives changed by having simple things that I take for granted every day.
Okay.
I'm having a moment.
Right. Right.
A very self-aware moment, being very humbled, feeling very blessed. And then the next comment comes up with the conversation when it takes that turn I spoke of.
And what's that comment?
Someone said, that is awful. And I'm like, yes. Amen.
You got
Preach it."
behind that. Yeah. Okay.
Because there's no nutrients in the dirt.
Oh.
And I'm like, what?
Wait. How does that go that way?
I don't know.
How is that a thought process?
And then everyone who's listening, because right now this is a conversation that involves 2 or 3 people,
Mm-hmm.
that got more of a response, and now we're up to 7 people having a one-directional conversation about, yes, there's no nutrients in the dirt, and they're getting behind this. Oh, how can those people eat, not die? There's nothing in it. There's no nutrients. There's nothing in it. There's no nutrients. There's nothing in it. There's no nutrients. And I'm like,
Like penguins.
yes.
Okay.
But the thing is, there actually is nutrients in dirt.
Okay. Yeah.
It's
yeah.
one of the things that women will crave because my wife works as a nurse in labor and delivery.
Oh,
Women
okay.
who are pregnant will, if their body's needing something, they'll crave it.
Is that like
whether
when I
it's
crave
sugar-
laundry detergent?
Yeah, but
Okay.
don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do.
But it
well,
smells so good. I haven't eaten it yet, but I.
How
you
are your
know,
movements? How are your
Um,
movements? Is that like a cleanse?
It feels clean.
If you're like getting the suds through your system, it's kind of like a cleanse, right?
There's no corn coming
You don't
out,
have
so I'm
to eat
pretty happy
kale.
about that. No.
No kale.
Do my farts change smell? Do they become like summer fresh or like
Do
ocean breeze?
my farts change smell?
Yeah. If I eat all that stuff, will
Do
it change
my-
the?
Do my farts smell change?
Do my farts smell? There we go. Yeah.
Do my farts smell change? Change smell?
People
Change.
understood what I was talking
Totally.
about.
I just thought I'd draw attention to it. It totally distracted me. I wouldn't be able to listen to anything else you said after that point. They'd be like, I'm sorry, did you ask me something? You'd be like, how'd the story end? I'd be like, I don't know. What are we talking about? Farts change smell.
We're talking about nutrients and farts, I think, right? That's what
Absolutely.
everyone thinks. No, we're talking about nutrients and dirt in
So,
Haiti.
so yeah, and then you had 7 people getting on board, and I'm just getting aggravated again because I'm like, did we seriously just miss the whole point of that conversation and go on tangents that we're more passionate about because there's no quote-unquote nutrients in the dirt, which there actually are.
Right.
I don't know. For me, it was very interesting because I'm sitting here looking at this situation. I'm like, man, is that a metaphor for life sometimes? What?
So people getting behind people for the smallest of reasons because it's easier to follow than it is to think for yourself.
And it's something maybe that people even believe in. It doesn't
There you go.
necessarily mean that it's right.
Well, there you go. And which, by the way, one of the things that we'd discussed in the podcast kind of earlier on was that Aaron being a pastor and being a very honest one and direct one, which is good, and myself being a Christian, but always questioning what comes my direction. It makes me wonder, how does that make you feel? How does that, these aren't just the people that you walk in church or, wherever you go and you talk to them. These are the people in charge. What do you think about that? Well, how does that, what does that impression on your heart,
Oh, man, it depends on the day and the situation. A lot of frustration sometimes. And sometimes I have to check myself because I can find myself being hypocritical in that. Like you said, it's very easy to join a movement that you're not in charge of because someone else is doing the heavy lifting.
Right.
And if it's something or has some semblance of truth that kind of strikes a chord with your heart, it's easy to attach yourself emotionally to that.
Right.
And I do that a lot. But if you look at the core of something, it's not always as black and white.
Right.
But when when I'm not in it and I'm looking at it and it's against something I don't believe in, it's very hard to keep my mouth shut.
Right. So is that how do you deal with that? Is that like everyone, they have their jobs and they have office politics. They've got people at work that they don't like, all that type of stuff. It's no different in a church, am I right?
Absolutely.
So how do you deal with it? Is there a spiritual aspect to it, or do you just kind of manu it up and just kind of take it on like it was another job? How do you do that?
It's definitely both. It's interesting you bring in the spiritual aspect and the manning up type thing. And any given situation, it probably does require a little bit of both.
Okay.
I'm an emotional guy, so my natural...
He's crying right now as we speak. That's how emotional he is.
But they're not tears of pain, they're just tears.
Yeah.
Because I can't stop.
Yeah, it's like an anime character, you just with a permanent...
With the big eyes.
Yeah,
and the
massive
mouth that's
eyes.
wider than the face.
That's right.
And I've got hands that are clasped right under the chin.
And I've got to look at this and not be scared and not laugh at the same time while I'm sitting across trying to record a podcast about this. It's very intimidating and cute at the same time. Kawaii, I guess you would say.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I try not to make them do peace symbols. It just throws us right off. Maybe that should be your picture for our podcast, is you having a big eyes and a peace symbol.
Yeah, but people wouldn't know what that is. They're like, I don't know if I want to listen to this. This guy looks like he's on the LSD.
The LSD.
You got to throw the word "the" in front of it. He's
course.
on the LSD.
We're smoking the weeds.
Oh, we don't talk about the weeds.
We don't talk about the weeds
That's
and the LSD.
why we don't go in the forest. We're one of those Christians because if you go in the forest, you smoke the weeds.
That's right.
And then you can't see the forest for the trees or something. I don't know, but it's bad.
You end up in an EDM concert or Burning Man or something like that, and then who knows what happens after that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's pretty bad.
Yeah,
Folk
you betcha.
festival. Yeah.
It's no good.
It's all over the place.
Oh, jeez, no. Heck no. Heck no, Doug. D. Putting the D in the DNA, yeah?
D in the DNA.
Oh, you betcha. Anyway, getting rid of the Fargo, North Dakota accent.
Yeah,
We're going to come back to it, but no, like I said, I'm an emotional person, so my instinct is to respond emotionally. Not be proactive, mind you, but be reactive.
Right.
Right? Like, and if I'm hurt, I'm obviously compromised emotionally. And a lot of times it's like I want to act in that moment without thinking, without processing who I'm going to hurt potentially, what I'm going to say. Is it going to be constructive, or am I just going to blurt out something to make myself feel better? So in those moments, I really have to take inventory and be like, okay, what's my focus? What's my motivation?
Right.
Is this about me?
Mm-hmm.
Is this about somebody else? How does it relate to the situation?
Okay.
So I have to check myself in that way for sure.
Right.
And if I'm still really upset, I need to be quiet in the moment. I need to process it with other people. And then that leads me into listening to other people's input, like yourself, like my wife, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Two solid voices, big pillars of my life, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But the spiritual aspect is just praying and being like, okay, if I'm going to have a conversation with God in my relationship with Christ,
Yeah.
which is what I do as a pastor and as a faith follower of Jesus, it's not about religion. It's not about, well, if I say 5 Hail Marys and 18 push-ups and I get a pump in my chest and my triceps look good, then I'm good.
Not saying that doesn't work, but it definitely is not biblical.
The gym is my therapy.
That's right.
You
That's
know,
right.
That's part 3
That's
of the
the
answer that you
TH.
didn't ask.
That's the TH and the theanist
Yeah,
part. The
theanist.
therapy is
That's
the gym
therapy
theanist.
and the gym and the biceps.
That's right. And then he goes and plays piano, and everything's all good.
Or at least I watched the movie The Pianist.
There you go. There you
Adrian
go.
Brody, who also has biceps.
That was a tough movie to watch.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Great movie, though.
It was a great movie.
The movie haunted. That movie is still good. Like, that was 03. that was
was-
high school.
Wow. That's
High
crazy
school.
to think about. Sure. But on a random note, and we can edit this out or whatever,
Oh, no.
I seen this great article that popped up about 2 days ago that some company online, it was like Ask Men or something like that, they found Tom Hardy's old MySpace account.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, and
the
it was
photos
it
coming
was
up out of it.
so funny. Some of the stuff that he put on there before he really got famous, and I think he'd done a couple movies, a couple roles, but he wasn't really a main actor at that time. Apparently, his PR person, didn't delete his MySpace profile, and there were some pretty funny pictures on there. So
Some pretty sketchy photos, but in a funny way. It wasn't
Yeah.
like he was just naked for the sake of being naked. He was trying to be funny.
yeah, he was trying to make himself known, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why he didn't get cast as a couple other parts. If I seen that and I was a casting director,
Because they saw his parts.
yeah, they were just like, you know what, I'll pass. It's just I've had enough jolly old England for today.
And then he did Bronson and Inception and Batman, and he's kind of Mad Max.
Mad Max, yeah, recently. So
You know, he's picking it up now.
yeah, he is. You forgot Warrior in between there. Isn't that one of your
Warrior.
favorite
yeah,
movies?
Yeah, it is. There's so many. I
Yeah.
mean, that guy in the last 8 years.
Yeah, it's been pretty impressive, and he's coming out with that new one where he's twins in London.
Oh yeah, that's a true story, isn't it?
Yeah, it's two twins that kind of start running the underground empire in London, and they work with the U.S. Mafia and kind of learn from them. But I don't actually remember the name of it, but looks like it'll be pretty interesting.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So where were we? The cliffhanger. It's the only time I've kind of forgotten where we're going.
Well, I think we can go back to the meeting of pastors. And just how kind of people react. So, from what it sounds like from my standpoint, and Aaron's going to punch me in the face on this one, but I feel like one of the lessons to be learned on this one is that everyone is human beings, including pastors, including leaders at your spiritual places that you go, that you find, and even they have screwed up things sometimes. Sometimes they don't even think straight. Sometimes they can't even communicate with each other. It's all over the place. And I'm not saying every place is like this, but why don't you go up to one of your pastors, one of your people that you admire, adore, learn from leadership positions, and just give them a hug. Thank them for what they do, and just try to get to know them as a human being. Because as it is obvious in this podcast, Aaron Patton is quite a human being. He is, he's got his own things that he likes and hates and does, and you got to remember that. Sometimes you forget that just because somebody's up on a pulpit that they're not a normal human being. But in this case, he is for sure. But yeah, even his coworkers, as crazy as they may be sometimes, they are also human beings, and they do weird things sometimes. But just get to know them. Just get to know them. And, you take away from what you want of it, Aaron. Maybe give them that spiritual golden nugget.
Well, I don't know if it's going to be a nugget. It might just be like a big dump or something. But
Yeah,
Either
yeah.
way, it might be spiritual, hopefully,
I call those nuggets too.
The chicken McNuggets,
That's
you know.
right, that's right.
Refried, deep fried, and recycled.
That's right. The pink goo nugget.
A pink goo nugget. If it's pink and it's gooey, go to the hospital.
That's right, yeah.
Or at least call Healthline.
Get that checked.
Yeah, that's one of those things that you want to at least put on as a Facebook status and hope somebody kind of...
Well, they might not have HealthLink in other cities. I don't know if they actually do.
Well,
And
then
if it's
dial
in the
911.
US
That's pretty universal.
If it's in the U.S., I'm pretty sure it would be like the Obama link or something like that. I don't know exactly.
Call your local Obama healthcare representative. Get on the Obama hotline
That's right. That's right.
and get some Obama help.
Or, if last but not least, if you have access to the internet, you can also WebMD it. Chances are you're going to blow your diagnosis way out of the water, but worth giving it a shot.
What? I thought Google was a great doctor diagnoser. I mean, come on. I had cancer according to what it said a couple weeks ago. It turns out I just had a booger stuck up there.
Yeah, that's probably exactly what happens. And according to this Dr. Nostradamus, I was supposed to be dead years ago, but apparently he's failed a lot of predictions.
He's got to get one of them right. Odds are.
He owns the death clock. Don't you know this? It's on Wikipedia and everything.
I mean, hey, Wikipedia's always right, too.
Yeah, well, if they seen how many cheeseburgers I ate on a regular basis, they would definitely lower that number pretty eagerly.
Oh, man. You know what, though? Like Doug said, if this is anything I want you to take away, and this isn't just for me, hopefully it's for both of us, and if it's not, Doug, cut me off. But, I know that a lot of times when you see someone who has faith or belief, or you see a Christian, you think they're so out to lunch, and not only their belief systems, you don't even think that they're outdated, but you think that they have no sense of what's actually happening in the world around them or people in their lives. Sometimes you get this image that you're just so out of touch with culture. And a lot of times, unfortunately, experiences really lend to that understanding, and I apologize. You see a Christian and you think that they think 50 Shades of Grey is nothing but accentuated hair color as people get older.
It isn't?
It's about...
Wait a minute.
I'm pretty sure it's a Bible reference from the book of Second Opinions.
Second Opinion?
But, for me, if you get nothing out of this but see a picture of two guys who love Jesus, love each other, and love the world around them, and are real. Our language isn't clean in some people's eyes. Our senses of humor are twisted and inappropriate in other people's eyes. But this is who we are, and we like it. We like each other. We like other people to have similar interests and stuff too. So yeah, I just want to put it out there that you have a voice, you value, and you matter. People matter.
I should probably cut you off there.
I think you should, because I'm starting to go on a tangent rant. So I was like, oh, God, I need to throw me something.
I have a dream.
How
Okay,
about
Aaron,
the
come on
dream?
now.
Yeah.
Let me get a hallelujah. No? Okay, never mind. If you're not saying hallelujah.
Amen. 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 Amen.
Now, currently that is not edited. That is actually his voice. That is pretty good right there.
It's not bad for a drummer.
Yeah, that is pretty solid right there. He can keep a beat and keep a tune. Too bad he's married, ladies. Too bad he's married. Lock that man down right there. Put a ring on it.
Oh, dear. Wow.
So do you have any closing points? Do you have any thoughts on our first podcast here? What are you thinking here?
Man, this has been fun.
It has been.
I like to keep this going.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think one of the things we want to do going forward, we're going to have a lot of tangent conversations. We're going to talk about things that are going on. One of the things I'd like to talk about, whether it's next time or the time after, the Syrian crisis, the refugees.
Okay.
I think that's important.
Yeah.
We had that, and I hate the fact that I'm referencing something without knowing the names of the people.
Oh.
But it's important because we saw that father-daughter tragedy of those people that were killed last week here in Calgary. And that's important. That affects people.
Yeah, it does.
It affects me.
It's close to home.
We want to talk about serious things and funny things. So, thank you for the opportunity coming to be a part of this.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. Like, subscribe, share. We want to grow. We want to hear people's opinions. Leave comments. Let us know what you think. Let us know things that you'd like to hear us talk about. Mm-hmm. Let us know, questions about spirituality, wrestling, comics, horror movies, relationships, whatever it is. We'll do our best to cover all topics and see what we can do here. And we're just having fun. So give us something to talk about.
Absolutely.
We can either be talking to each other, having a conversation for hours on hours every time, or we can actually focus it on something that you guys want. So let us know what that is.